Chelsea Wolfe is an American singer-songwriter from Sacramento, California, currently based in Los Angeles. She is known for her specific brand of drone metal art folk, characterized by experimental guitar playing, hazy vocals, and surreal soundscapes. Wolfe debuted with her album The Grime and The Glow, released on an independent label, Pendu Sound Recording, followed by Apokalypsis, which gained her recognition from indie critics as well as an underground following. In 2012, Wolfe released Unknown Rooms, a collection of acoustic songs, which featured a more folk-oriented sound as opposed to her earlier work, which had been heavily centered on droning guitars and distortion. Wolfe's fourth studio album, Pain is Beauty, was released September 3, 2013. An album trailer was released alongside this announcement, as well as a North American headlining tour in the fall. The song Feral Love was featured in the trailers for Game of Thrones Season 4 and the television adaptation of 12 Monkeys. The official music video directed by Mark Pellington and released on February 9, 2014. The video is an excerpt from an hour-long film titled Lone that will be released in spring 2014. Early life: Chelsea Wolfe grew up in Sacramento, California. Her father was in a country band and had a home studio, where by the age of 9, she wrote and recorded songs which she describes as, basically Casio-based goth R&B songs. Career: in 2006, Wolfe composed an album, titled Mistake in Parting, which she called embarrassingly bad. The album went unreleased, and Wolfe took a hiatus from writing music for several years. Wolfe debuted her first two albums, The Grime and The Glow and Apokalypsis, on Pendu Sound Recordings, a New York-based independent music label. Apokalypsis garnered Wolfe critical acclaim, receiving favorable reviews in Pitchfork and CMJ. Wolfe has said she composed her first two albums on her mother's classical guitar, which was missing a tuning peg. As a result, the strings had to be tuned down, which was a stylistic element carried onto the studio recordings. Wolfe toured extensively in North America and Europe to support both albums, and suffered from extreme stage fright, which she was able to overcome. When she initially began performing live, Wolfe would wear a black veil over her face. In 2012, Wolfe signed with Sargent House Records to release her third album. Wolfe's third album, Unknown Rooms, a collection of acoustic songs, was released on October 16, 2012, and was stylistically varied from her previous two albums, which were based around electric guitar. The acoustic album contains once orphaned songs, according to Wolfe. On July 28, 2012, the first single, The Way We Used To, was revealed on NPR. On September 20, the second single, Appalachia, was revealed on The Fader. Wolfe's fourth studio album, Pain is Beauty, was released in September 2013, with a North American tour to support the album. Wolfe also contributed guest vocals to the American post-metal band Russian Circle's fifth studio album Memorial, released in October 2013. Russian Circles and Chelsea Wolfe toured Europe together in late 2013. Musical style and influences: Wolfe has cited an array of artists and specific genres as influences, including black metal and Scandinavian folk music, but has said, "I do have a hard time sticking to one genre, and honestly I prefer it that way. I'd rather be free to experiment and make the kind of art I want to make than be easy to define." Various critics have noted elements of doom, drone, black metal, gothic rock, folk and dark ambient in her music. In regards to her vocals, Wolfe has said, "I think deep down I wish I had one of those really gritty voices like Kurt Cobain, so maybe I'm making up for it with distorted guitars." Wolfe has also cited the visual elements of filmmaker Ingmar Bergman and photographer Nan Goldin as influences on her, as well as the writings of Ayn Rand and D.H. Lawrence. Discography: studio albums, The Grime and The Glow, Apokalypsis, Unknown Rooms, a collection of acoustic songs, Pain is Beauty, EPs and compilations, Prayer for the Unborn, King Dude and Chelsea Wolfe sing songs together 7 inches split, King Dude and Chelsea Wolfe sing more songs together 7 split, live albums, Live at Roadburn, band members, Chelsea Wolfe Euro vocals, guitar, Ben Chisholm Euro synth, bass, Kevin Doctor Euro lead guitar, Dylan Fujioka, drums, Andrea Calderon, violin, Ezra Bakula, viola. Music videos. References. External links. Official website.